Yeah, things have been weird, man. This week has been a weird week. I was in LA for work last week. I got sick while I was in LA. I come home. I was sick through the weekend. Michelle has left to go to Singapore for 10 days.
Yeah.
And so my schedule is completely thrown off, as well as like I kind of feel like I'm in a different timeline. Like I'm in the wrong timeline. You know what I mean? Like I legit questioned the fact that like nobody was responding to my emails or my like text messages for the last couple of days, like in a normal time frame, to the point where like I legit had to call a friend and I said to him, I go, did I die on the plane back from California and I'm living some sort of like sixth sense, like I'm still here but not really here thing? Or is this just been a really weird week? And the other thing is like, not to downplay it, but like my team has been handling the work really, really well. So like I haven't actually been bombarded with like tickets or client issues like I normally am. And it's not like a time of the year where a lot of people are away. So I'm just so confused and I'm so tired. So like, I'm just so confused by like everything that's going on. I don't know where I am right now.
Well, and I had a feeling like something was up because I thought for sure that the minute I got back from my 2-week vacation that you would be texting me. And I haven't heard from you for a whole week until today.
Yeah.
But I've also I've been sick since we got back.
Yeah.
Luckily I was not sick on the cruise. And so I haven't reached out to you because I've been sick, but I want to go back to the time thing for a minute because it is a weird, I was gone for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 whole weeks on a cruise. I don't think I feel like I was gone for more than a weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's so weird, dude. We did a lot of stuff and it was really busy. And I think that has something to do with it because my idea of a vacation is put me on the side of a mountain in a cabin or something and just let me chill for a while.
Yeah.
So going on a cruise and having all these activities, I mean, because we were in Aruba, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, and Jamaica.
Yeah.
And we had shore excursions everywhere. And it was great. I actually got to catch up with Sean Walsh in Aruba.
Oh, nice.
From the Pumpkin Plan. He and his wife and Amy and I went out. They took us to a...
Were they just hanging out there or does he just like live there now?
No, they have a place there. There. They spend a lot of time there. And he took us to a restaurant.
Amongst the divvy trees?
Yes, yes, absolutely. And they took us to a restaurant called Z Rover, which if you're not familiar, Aruba is was a Dutch colony. It's a self-sustaining country now that still falls under the Kingdom of the Netherlands. I don't know exactly how that works, but the point is they speak Dutch.
Yeah.
Do you know what Z Rover means in Dutch?
I have no idea. I barely speak English, let alone Dutch.
It's a Dutch word. It means pirate. So it was completely on brand for us to go there for dinner. And it was great. They were pulling fish right out of the ocean and that's what they serve. Like if they catch 2 kinds of fish that day, you have 2 choices. If they only catch 1, you have 1 choice.
You get a red fish or blue fish. That's it.
It was amazing though. I think it was mahi that night, but absolutely amazing. But yeah, I completely can relate to the whole time thing.
I haven't been to Aruba since I was like, I don't know, 11 years old. And I mean, I love that place. The divvy tree, for those who don't know, the thing about the divvy trees is they all point the same direction. So if you're ever lost on the island of Aruba, just look at the divvy trees and they're pointing, I think, south, right? Like all towards the base of the island. So you can just follow them so you can get somewhere. It's some direction. I forget exactly which.
Yeah, I don't remember either, but it's because the wind is always blowing in that direction.
Right.
And what was weird to me, because I didn't know this before going there, because this was my first time there, is that it is truly a desert island. Like it's a desert
there's nothing
type of feeling, and that's the terrain and everything else. And it's so different from the tropical islands like, Jamaica and Cuba and all of those places, that it is a very interesting place to go. And I guess the big attraction is the temperature never changes that much.
No,
and so it's very constant. And even though it's warm, it doesn't feel that way because of the wind.
Because of the wind, yeah. It's a great little. I think that's even isn't there like their title is like a great little island or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Something to that effect, yeah. Well, I'm glad you had a good time. I don't know about this timeline thing. I'm still trying to like navigate through it. I'm hoping that maybe with the weekend coming up that things will snap back into reality for next week. I mean, the thing is that like Michelle's still gone for another almost an entire week. And then as soon as she comes home, I have to go back out to Florida for work. So like it will have, like by the time our trips are done, it will legit have been 3.5 weeks since Michelle and I have been in like the same room, like at any given time. You know what I mean? It's really weird. And with her being in Singapore, being 14 hours ahead, like it's like she's going to bed when like we're getting to work and like we go to bed and she's like first waking up and stuff like that. It's a very weird thing. It's actually a lot better than like when she goes to like London, because the 6-hour time difference is like it's really hard to lock that down to get like, especially when the kids want to say goodnight.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. And then today someone started talking to me about that movie Interstellar. You know that in the movie Interstellar, the soundtrack is different than the movie. There's 2 songs on the soundtrack that are not in the movie because apparently whilst they were in the movie, they caused people to like uncontrollably weep. Like that's how powerful the song is. Like it just brings on this, and like, you listen to music when you're like, like that study time music, you listen to like the soundtrack from like Tron or like The Social Network. Sometimes Interstellar comes on and you're like working, you're like, I'm going to bang through these tickets. And you're like, why can't I get through my job, man? It's because you're listening to that song that's on the Interstellar soundtrack.
And by the way, if you're listening to this podcast and it's your first time listening to this podcast, we do actually talk about MSP stuff.
Sometimes.
Helped makes it easier for MSPs to deliver exceptional IT support. With on-demand services and a network of reliable technicians, Helped helps you expand your service offerings without adding overhead. Fast, flexible, and built for MSPs, visit atmsp.link/helped and see how they can help your business thrive.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the All Things MSP Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Esgar. With me always is my good friend and podcast producer extraordinaire, Mr. Eric Anthony. I almost forgot how to do the intro. It's been a while. Well, when you get into, we're going to get into habits a little bit later, but like when you get into a habit and then you break it for like 2 weeks, even 2 weeks, you're just like, I'm throwing off. But here's a habit that we've been trying to get better at. It's from the group. Christian Jackson writes, which RMM and PSA would fit my needs? I currently use Zoho for free and wrote my own Sync tool that automates PAX 8 MS billing into zero, so maybe I don't need a PSA. And ConnectWise control for unlimited endpoints at, I think that's 400 pounds PA. I guess that's per
annum, so per year.
Per year. Thank you.
Which sounds about right.
Like yep. I'm small but growing. Only myself need access to the above at the moment. Hope to grow bigger. But here's the need. I have a new client that will commit to a longer term if I can throw in patch management, ticketing, remote control to their internal IT team. Is there a product that, one, won't break the bank, maybe so-and-so or so-and-so, I'm not going to name names. ConnectWise can't give me easy answers, and PAX 8 promotes these other two. And 2, can be used by me, provide me better ticketing, and can be shared with my MSP client. I guess by shared, I mean I have everything, and they have a department that their staff wants access to, but not all the devices I support, i.e. other customers. Okay, so let's break this down. You're looking for a tool, Christian, that won't break your bank, and you can give the other you can give your customer access to their tickets with, is what I think I'm reading here within the system. I don't know if Zoho does that or not, but like my take, and I did comment on this post earlier today, Eric, and I wrote like, don't spend the money if you don't need to, because if you're going to, I wouldn't spend the money on buying a new tool just to get a customer, right? Because you can lose that customer quickly. You don't know when they're going to go. So if the customer wants access to ticketing and you're already in a platform, there's got to be a way to let that customer access those tickets. Most ticketing platforms, even Zoho, I would assume, have the ability for clients who have access to their own tickets from within the platform. I know Halo does. I know Zendesk did. I'm sure ConnectWise does as well. But I would never think about adding more to my own stack because of requirements from the customer, short of like insurance or privacy concerns.
Yeah, I mean, not unless it's strategic, right? I think there is something to be said here for if this is the first of many, right? Because I think what he's looking at here, and I obviously I can't speak for sure, but it looks to me like this is kind of going to be a co-managed arrangement. And I think the decision you have to make is, do I want to do co-managed IT? Because that is going to determine whether or not you want to invest in the tools to go after these types of clients, not just this one individual client. I 100% agree with you. Don't buy a tool just because one client needs it, especially if it's a client that you don't already have. You're buying it in the hopes of getting a client, because especially in this case, if this is what you're doing, you're co-managing, they need access to their tickets. And by the way, there's a small difference between needing access, like an end user needing access to their own tickets, or an IT resource at the client needing access to all their users' tickets.
Right.
That is a difference in functionality that you just need to look into. But I don't think that's something that you buy now. I think it's something that you just make sure that if you get that client and you decide you're going to do co-managed for the long term, it's going to be part of your business strategy, that you add a PSA solution that has that co-managed ticket functionality. But again, I think to your point, Justin, most of them have that capability at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, there is also like I can contradict my own statement, right? Like, because I say like don't buy tools for tools' sake, don't buy tools for client's sake, things like that. But if there is value in a different tool, like the difference between I don't know enough about Zoho, but like if Zoho had 1, 2, and 3, and Halo provides 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and ConnectWise gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the price difference is nominal between them. I mean, he's using Zoho free, so obviously there's going to be some price with the other two. But if there's enough ROI and you're not breaking the bank, like if Zoho's free and let's say Halo's $100 a month and ConnectWise is $105 a month, and again, I have no idea what the pricing is, like look at what that ROI is, and can you actually use it and leverage to get back time to be able to get another customer as well. So like, don't do it because the customer wants it. Do it because you're actually going to gain benefit in the long run if that's the path you want to take. But again, I still believe, don't do it out of the gate just for the sake of doing things.
Strategy. It has to be part of the strategy.
It has to be part of the strategy. So strategize the right way with All Things MSP. Christian, thanks so much for posting in the group. If you want to be from the group, check out facebook.com/group/All Things MSP. Ask a smart enough question that Eric and I could probably answer, and we'll pick it out one time randomly from the group.
Simplify Microsoft 365 management with CoreView, the ultimate tool for MSPs. From advanced reporting to enhanced security and license optimization, CoreView empowers you to manage your clients' environments effortlessly, save time, reduce costs, and deliver superior service. Learn more at atmsp.link/CoreView.
So this week we're going to, Eric, I want to talk a little bit about habits, habit building, and getting back into habits, because you were just on vacation for 2 weeks and I was away, and then I got sick, and we were talking about this in the pre-show that my life is a little turned upside down right now, little Fresh Prince, because like Michelle's away and I got to deal with the kids, and like we don't have our dogs right now because when Michelle's away I can't handle them, so we get rid of them. So that throws, like, my normal morning schedule is completely thrown off, to the point where, like, normally my kids go to school, I come downstairs, I bang out like 10-15 minutes worth of work, check my email, get tickets under control, go work out for 20 minutes after walking the dogs, and then take a shower, get my day started. I don't have my dog, so I'm not walking the dogs. My kids get on the bus, and like, because I was in LA, that threw off my schedule. Then I got sick, so I threw off my eating schedule. And now that I'm back, I just, like, my kids go to bus and I just want to go back to bed. And so it has become, actually, Michelle yelled at me from Singapore to be like, go work out, go do your arm workout today. I was like, it's Friday bike day. She's like, yeah, but your legs hurt, so do arms. I was like, fine. Like, I was doing really good. I was really proud of myself too, because I had been working out Monday to Friday every day since basically the second to last week in December. And then I got sick and I even worked out the first, like, when I got to California, I worked out that Tuesday. I got sick that afternoon. So, like, I couldn't muster the energy to get back into it. And I feel like this is a problem. We could take like a broader view on this, but this is a problem that happens where, it's very easy to start a habit. It's very hard to continue a habit. And it's even harder if something gets in the way of said habit to restart that habit.
Yeah.
And I think that this is true, not just of, working out or your eating or whatever it is, but like work habits as well. Like putting time in your calendar to do LinkedIn stuff. Like, I was on LinkedIn every day for a month. I haven't touched LinkedIn in 2 weeks. I just can't look at that blue icon anymore. Like, this is a problem that I think a lot of people experience. And I kind of want to get into, and maybe we'll just, this will be like a little bit of therapy for you and I, like, getting into our own habits again.
Because you described what led you to fall off the wagon, right? I was on vacation for 2 weeks. Came back, immediately got sick with bronchitis. If you can't hear it still, this is a podcast, so it's mostly audible. So you should be able to figure it out. I use at least a decent enough microphone that you should be able to tell my normal voice from my ridiculously raspy voice right now. But it really, because it's a combination of 2 weeks of having no schedule whatsoever, right? Mm-hmm. Except for shore excursions. I know. Pity me.
I was going to say, this is the world's smallest violin playing.
I know, right? But then coming back and trying to jump right back into work, but being sick and not having the energy to follow what is usually a pretty rigorous schedule. I mean, I typically get up at 4:15 in the morning to start my day because I have a lot of crap to do.
And you're partially a psychopath.
Well, that too.
So what time have you been getting up since you've been back? Because you're sick. I'm assuming you're getting up like.
So, okay. So this, I actually have a bone to pick with you, sort of, because you're the Apple guy. Because you're the Apple guy. I swear I turned off my alarm like multiple times this past week, and it still went off at 4:15.
Because you didn't turn off because when you changed the health settings for the alarm clock, it's a health clock, not clock, and you have to make sure you change and you say like not, there's like two buttons that says for this or like next, like next or permanently or something like that, and the top button is the wrong one. You got to press the bottom button.
See that, and that's just not cool because being woken up at 4:15, especially on a morning where it's the first time you've actually slept through the night in 3 days.
Your phone wants you to get back on your habits.
I know, that's true. That's what I pay it for.
Exactly. Yeah, it's tough. It's like I try to work, like I said earlier, like Michelle yelled at me and I got my workout in, but like it wasn't until almost 9 when I actually went downstairs to like work out, which is somewhere in the hour and a half later than I normally do. And yeah, it was after 9, which means the day had already started for work too. So like I was cheaping out on my team by, I mean, granted it was only a 10-minute workout, but like that's not the way it's supposed to be. So it's significantly easier to fall off the wagon for habits because it's not always your fault. So I want people to listen to that part again. It's not always your fault. It's not like, you, Eric, or I got complacent and I was like, I don't feel like doing it today. It's like legit, like something happened on our schedule. We both ended up getting sick. Like something externally pushed us off the wagon, right? And so number one is accepting that by saying, it's not my fault, because that's a huge part of like the human psyche to realize that like, it's not your fault. It's okay. Cool. Now, what do you do about it? And a lot of people would tell you to like, just jump right back into it. Like, oh, well, if you're feeling better, just get back into it. Get up at 8 o'clock. You can't do that, especially like working out of all the things. Working out is like probably the hardest one, because like, if you don't work out for 2 weeks, your body doesn't know, like day one, you're basically at ground zero again, like starting over. And like your body doesn't know what to do. Like I legit did lunges like 2 days ago and my thighs are on fire for the last 2 days. Like I'm normally okay doing lunges, right?
Yeah.
But like, it's because I didn't do it for so long. So much like trying to get your body to get back into it, you have to slow roll yourself back into it. So I also like to say to people like, hey, you did it once. You can do it again. So like there's you got to bring like a lot of positivity around this in order for it to work. But it's one of those things where I think if you just try to like snap back into it, you'll fail harder than if you like slow roll into it.
Yeah, because you can't physically, especially when you're talking about being sick, you can't jump right back into all of it, right? Now, I think one of the things that has helped me this week is, I mean, literally, if you look at my calendar, my morning is scheduled out. Okay. It literally is scheduled from 4:30 a.m. all the way until 8 a.m.
Yeah.
With stuff that most people would probably not normally schedule, right? Like eating breakfast. Like I have a half an hour set aside for that. Now, I did not jump back into doing everything, right? Because I was not waking up at 4:15. I was waking up because the alarm clock woke me up, but then I was telling it to shut up and I'd go back to sleep. But it does give me the framework still to tell me these are the things that I have time to do still, even though I'm waking up maybe at 6 or at 7. These are the things that I need to get done to get back on track. And I think what that's allowed me to do is slowly, as I wake up earlier and earlier and get back on track, still have that framework and that structure to start working from. And I think there's some value in having, what do I want to call it? Because I don't have a name for it. Maybe call it an anchor habit for my morning routine, right? And the anchor habit for my morning routine is my journaling, is my Bible study and journaling.
Right.
And that is the thing that I try without fail to not miss, because I know if I can do that, it's kind of like the Navy SEAL who became an admiral, who talked about making your bed as the first thing. If you make your bed first thing, it means that you can accomplish all the other things during the day because you've accomplished one thing. I think it's very similar to that idea. And so if you have that anchor activity that you make sure you get done every day, it just sets you up for success for the rest of the day, even if you don't get all the other things done.
I do love that ideal, and I know who you're talking about with the Navy Admiral, like that what you're calling your anchor habit. Actually, that's really smart. I like that idea, because even even if it's something simple that like can't be affected by some of the other stuff, whether you get up late, you'll still do your journal. Like if you didn't get up at 4:15, you got up at 5:15, but you still do your journaling and your Bible studies first, like boom, you've gotten that in and you're setting yourself up for the ability to be able to do other stuff during the day. I remember like was it 3 days ago, I woke up and I didn't work out at all. And I'm home. It's not like I couldn't work out. I didn't work out at all. And I ended up like putzing the day away. Like, because I didn't do the things I needed to do. Like I completely like reverted back to the way I was months ago. And so like, I was like, I can't even get my brain focused into doing things, which is why it was so important for me to like work out, especially today, like to get myself in the right mode, because like otherwise I would be on this call right now and just be like, like I don't know, like it would just be one of those things. You have to be able to lock in on those things and use them to like propel yourself forward, and trying to bring like the idealism of like these habits back. Even if you like worked out for 5 minutes, 3 minutes, wrote 1 page in your journal, whatever, like you need something. Like I said to my team yesterday that I apologized to my team on the huddle, on our daily huddle, just being like, I am in a weird brain space and I apologize, but I'm waiting for the thing I need to snap me back into reality. And it took a phone call. I had to call a friend to be like, this is what I was talking about during the cold open, right? Like, do I exist? Is this real? Is this the Matrix? Like, it took that phone call. I needed something. Because it was so weird for me, because like I was literally like, I was emailing people this week and I was like slacking people and I was texting people and like nobody was responding to me. And like I legit got concerned that I was dead. like I did not know what was going on. And so getting that workout in this morning has propelled me enough to be able to like tackle my work and focus in on my calls that I had to focus in on with my clients, and like do the things I needed to do to move my business forward, which is where it's at. So like, number one, if you fall off, it's okay. Number two, most of the time it's not your fault and you have to recognize when and when it's not. And number three, it takes a lot to start an engine from cold.
Yes.
And people forget that.
And that's where I think that anchor habit helps. And I don't know. I'm gonna see how that fits in my overall concept of time management. But it gives you that single point of focus early in the day. It has to be early in the day to give you focus for the rest of the day. And that is almost like starting that engine from cold, right? Yeah. You have to turn the engine over that first time to get it running for the rest of the day. And sometimes that's the hardest piece.
To stay with this car analogy, right? Like sometimes you need AAA to give you a boost. Sometimes you need a friend to give you a boost. Sometimes you need to call someone. Sometimes you need a spouse or a significant other or loved one or whatever to call. And that's what I needed yesterday when I talked to my friend. Like I needed something to get me through this funk, right?
Yeah. Well, and that's especially true in the small business owner realm, right? We're so frequently on our own, kind of at the top, and so focused on our own business that we allow these types of things to creep in, and we don't always have that person that we can call. So one of the things that I definitely recommend is have those people that you can call. There are plenty of people in this industry who will be that kind of buddy for you. I mean, I know that you and I would do that for each other, right?
Yeah, of course.
For sure. We've done that on occasion.
Yeah.
And this industry is made up of lots of people like that who are more than willing to take a phone call, take it in all confidence, and help you get over whatever that funk is that you're in.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely need that. Like, you need that. I mean, we tend to believe we're all, and I've said this before on the show, like we tend to all believe that we're on an island all alone. But like the reality is all of our islands are like right next to one another. You know what I mean? And we're all connected by bridges. Like, yeah, you might be on an island all on your own most of the time because it's your business and it's your company and your whatever. But the truth of the matter is, like, Facebook.com/group/all things MSPs got 6,500 other MSPs in it. They're not all on like one landmass and you're alone on this little island. Like, they're all also on their own little islands, but they're all right next to yours with like a little footbridge, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, some may be bigger islands, some may be smaller islands, but there are lots of other people out there who have the exact same island that you have, and can really relate to what's going on and can help you get through whatever you're experiencing at the time.
Yeah. So if you feel like you're falling off of your habits, like, know that you're not alone. People, this is a completely human thing that we have been trying to perfect for millennia. You know, I'm assuming some cave people one day, you know, they were like, habit one, go find berries. And one day, like, one of the cave people were like, I don't want to do that today. No berries for me. And they were like, come on, Joseph, go get berry. And they were like, no berry. And then like the next day, people were like, oh, I guess we don't get berries anymore. Like, I'm assuming that's how it went. This is all playing out live time in my brain, by the way.
Oh, well, I think we know why both of us fell off the wagon this week. And
this is what happens. This is what happens when you get a head cold. Yeah. See, if you really want to see what's going on, check out youtube.com/@allthingsmsp and watch how Eric and I have been alternating who's on mute as we both cough up a lung, because we're both sick, even though we are not interacting with one another. We both just happen to have something. By the way,
and laughing makes it even worse.
Makes it so much harder. And I lost my cough drops, which has been treacherous. So many people I know have been getting sick. It's really bad. But it's easy to fall off. It is easy to get back on if you just do it slowly. Sometimes you need a friend. You just have to recognize what you yourself need, and you can get back into those habits. And setting yourself those habits, doing that anchor habit, as Eric said, will allow you to keep the needle down, keep the engine running, be able to move your business. And you know what? Take it easy. Like, if you didn't close 17 new pieces of business this week, or like put out 1,000 LinkedIn posts, like, it's okay. It's relax, Gary V. It's okay. Like, we don't need to like do, you can get away with 3 or 1. As long as you do something, get yourself going.
Right.
Do 1, then do 2, then do 3. As my mom likes to say, Rome wasn't built in a day.
I love your mom.
Check us out, facebook.com/group/all things MSP for all of the what's happening. Watch us, like I said earlier, but check it out, youtube.com/all things MSP. Follow us on all of your favorite podcasting tools. Leave a review, subscribe, and like. Help Eric pay for better medical insurance, I guess. I don't know.
No. I'm on antibiotics. I'll be fine for next week. Well, this will come out about the time I'm in Chicago. But yeah, no, we're fine. We're just still sounding bad.
I like it. I like gravelly Eric. If you like gravelly Eric,
voice I should always have.
Yeah, if you like Gravelly Eric, leave us a review and let us know. Anything else you want to say before we leave?
Just thank everybody for kind of staying with us, and this will be episode 103, I think. So if you haven't checked out episode 100, definitely go back and do that. Some fun outtakes from that, and just some of the different things that we've done over the last 2 years of doing this show. And it's amazing that two people like us have been able to do a podcast every single week for 2 stinking years.
What's more amazing is I know people have listened to every episode for 2 years, so we appreciate you. But for now, that's Sicko Eric. I'm Sicko Justin. Bye!
Thank you for listening or watching the All Things MSP podcast. If you liked this episode, go ahead and give us a thumbs up, hit that like button, and consider subscribing to catch all our weekly episodes. And from your host extraordinaire, Justin Esgar, and myself, Eric Anthony, your humble producer and All Things MSP founder, thank you very much for spending your time with us. If you are not aware, All Things MSP started as a Facebook group and now supports over 6,000 members. We also have a LinkedIn page for those of you who don't do Facebook, and make sure to check out our YouTube channel for even more content. A special thank you to our elite sponsor, CoreView, helping you manage your Microsoft 365 tenants instead of them managing you. Thank you to our premier sponsors, EasyDmark, Helped, Gozinta, MoveBot, and SuperOps. And thank you to the rest of our sponsors. Without sponsors, we could not do what we do for the MSP community. Please consider checking them out. The All Things MSP podcast is a BizPow LLC production. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not reflect the thoughts and opinions of any employer, vendor, sponsor, or random taxi driver in the Metro DC area. Be sure to join us next week for another exciting episode.